Alyssa Farah Griffin never expected that one of the most mortifying moments of her life would involve one of Hollywood's most charming leading men, and that it would become public knowledge on national television, no less. But that's exactly what unfolded during a candid and hilarious segment on The View, where the former White House communications director turned political commentator opened up about an unexpected wardrobe mishap involving none other than the British heartthrob Jude Law. It all happened during the show's popular Hot Topics segment, a portion of the broadcast where the co-hosts, Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, Sarah Haynes, Sunny Hostin, and Ana Navarro, gathered to talk about current events, pop culture oddities, and sometimes their own personal lives. What started as a light-hearted discussion about LeAnn Rimes' very public dental disaster mid-performance somehow spiraled into a string of surprising on-air confessions. And Alyssa's story took the cake. Leaning into the moment with the kind of self-deprecating humor only a seasoned TV personality can master, Griffin, 36, gave viewers a glimpse into a moment she'd rather forget. The ladies were still laughing about the image of LeAnn Rimes desperately trying to keep her front teeth in during a concert when Griffin chimed in with, "This isn't quite the same," she said, half laughing and half cringing already at what she was about to share. "But I accidentally flashed my underwear to Jude Law backstage once." Confession was met with gasps, giggles, and wide eyes from her co-hosts. "I swear I wanted the floor to open up and swallow me whole," she continued, visibly red in the face even as she laughed it off. "It was during one of the show tapings and I was running a little behind schedule, so I did what I never should have done. I tried to change in the dressing area really quickly. And then boom, there he was." Griffin recalled how the door had been slightly ajar, and Jude Law, ever the proper English gentleman, happened to be passing by at exactly the wrong moment. "It wasn't like I was standing there completely exposed," she clarified quickly, then added with a groan, "but it was enough. Like underwear and everything. And it wasn't even cute underwear, it was the laundry day kind." Even though Law, now 52, didn't utter a word, no comment, no visible reaction, not even a smirk, Griffin felt the sheer weight of the moment hit her like a truck. She was mortified. "I'm sorry, sir," she confessed. "Like, I made it worse by calling him sir. And then I maybe curtsied. I'm not even sure. It was brutal." The studio erupted into laughter. Griffin covered her face with her hands, shaking her head. Who curtsies after flashing someone? Who does that? Jude Law, known for his composed demeanor and dashing screen presence, had been a guest on The View most recently to promote his dark, thought-provoking series Skeleton Crew back in November. If the incident happened around that time, it must have been fresh in Griffin's memory, and probably Jude's too, although ever the consummate professional, he never brought it up on air or off. The exchange set off a chain reaction of embarrassing moments among the ladies. Co-host Sarah Haynes, 47, jumped in next with a story of her own, diving into a cringe-worthy but oddly empowering anecdote from 2013. The time, she was still co-hosting segments on Good Morning America, where she was asked to take part in a staged comedy bit involving Spider-Man. The idea? She would fake faint and Spider-Man, a stunt actor in full costume, would dramatically catch her mid-collapse like something straight out of a Marvel movie. Except it didn't quite go to plan. "He had caught me 3 times in rehearsal," Haynes began, speaking with the tone of someone who's recounted this horror story to friends over drinks many times before. "He was perfect. It was like synchronized swimming. I was confident, too confident probably. But when it came time for the live broadcast, he missed me. Just poof. I hit the floor." The audience collectively winced. "It was like watching a failed trust fall, but on national television," Haynes continued. "I remember thinking, this is it. This is how I become a meme." The moment was caught on camera, of course. Footage later showed Haynes dramatically flopping to the floor, arms flailing, and a very startled Spider-Man actor scrambling to pick her up. Afterward, one of the stunt guys came over and said, "You really went for it." And I was like, you know what? I did. Weirdly enough, it was one of the best compliments I've ever gotten. Everyone at the table was howling with laughter by this point, but Sunny Hostin wasn't done yet. ever the composed and analytical one on the panel, Hostin, 55, had a story of her own, but hers veered slightly toward the terrifying. "I almost died on set," she said, casually sipping from her mug as if it were no big deal. That got everyone's attention. It was last week. There were snacks backstage. I was hungry. I grabbed something, didn't think to ask what it was. Turns out it had walnuts in it. And I am deathly allergic to walnuts. The room went silent for a moment, the kind of collective breath-holding that only happens when someone drops a life-threatening bomb in the middle of what was, until then, a fun exchange of embarrassing tales. "I started feeling it immediately," Hostin said. "I was like, oh no, this is it. I'm going into anaphylaxis while Whoopi's talking about inflation." In the moment of panic, she scribbled a note and passed it to Griffin that read, "I am deathly allergic to walnuts." "Oh no." Griffin, stunned, read the note and froze. But despite the situation, Hostin powered through the segment. "But guess what?" she said, smiling. "The show must go on. That's what you do, and that's what LeAnn Rimes did. I give her credit for it." That brought the conversation full circle to the original topic, LeAnn Rimes and her unfortunate mid-performance dental mishap. Rimes, 42, was performing at the Skagit Casino Resort in Washington on June 20th when disaster struck, right in the middle of singing her hit, One-Way Ticket. In a video shared the following day on Instagram, Rimes detailed the moment. "Last night I was on stage in the middle of One-Way Ticket and I feel something pop in my mouth," she said, looking both amused and horrified. "And if you've been around, you know I've had a lot of dental surgeries and I have a bridge in the front and it fell out in the middle of my song." Anyone who's ever dealt with a dental emergency knows just how unsettling it can be. But for a performer, on stage, mid-song, with cameras rolling, it's a nightmare scenario. Rimes didn't immediately walk off stage, though. In true showbiz fashion, she kept going. "I was panicked," she admitted. "But I just had to get real with everybody and tell them exactly what was happening, or else I would have had to walk off stage." And so she did the unthinkable. She told the audience what happened and carried on. "For the rest of the show, I was literally like this," she said, demonstrating how she held her teeth in place with her fingers while continuing to sing. Later, during her performance of Can't Fight the Moonlight, the situation worsened. "My teeth just fell in my mouth," she said, "while I'm singing." That image, of a global country pop icon catching her own teeth mid-note, was too much for Griffin and the co-hosts to handle. They laughed, partly in sympathy and partly because showbiz disasters are best handled with humor. Each of these women had their moment to shine, or more accurately, to share the moments when they utterly didn't shine. Whether it was flashing an A-list actor, getting dropped by a faux superhero on live TV, almost dying from a rogue walnut, or pushing your own teeth into place while belting a power ballad, every story was a reminder that behind the glamour, lights, and perfectly timed cues, showbiz is messy. Hilariously, sometimes dangerously, but always beautifully messy. And the best part? They all kept going. No matter how awkward, cringy, painful, or panic-inducing the moment, they pushed through. They laughed at themselves. They shared it with the world. They made it human. 'Cause at the end of the day, whether you're Alyssa Farah Griffin curtsying after flashing your Spanx to Jude Law, or LeAnn Rimes praying her teeth don't hit the front row, the show must go on.